You have shown the world what true resilience looks like. You've reminded us all that freedom and independence are never guaranteed. They need protecting, defending, and when necessary, fighting for. Today, as Ukraine marks the anniversary of the start of this war, I want to speak directly to you, to those on the front lines and to those supporting from the home front. Your strength inspires the world.
Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, released a heartfelt video acknowledging the 4th anniversary of the war in Ukraine and Russia's invasion. He spoke directly to people on the front line, he spoke directly to service members, and he offered heartfelt words of encouragement. Today, we're going to get into that video as well as the accompanying article from Hello Magazine, so let's get started. Thank you for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to talk about Prince Harry's amazing video to people in Ukraine acknowledging the 4th anniversary of Russia's invasion. But before we get into that, if you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. Once again, this article is in Hello Magazine. It says, the new video comes just 2 weeks after Prince Harry released another emotional clip appealing to brave volunteers in Ukraine. Prince Harry was seen speaking to the 2 volunteers and asking about how they were. One of them said, quote, life has turned upside down for the last 2 weeks. Sometimes it seems to me that this is just a nightmare and I'm going to wake up soon. In response, Prince Harry replied, I mean, you guys are saving lives every single day. I know you're part of Halo, so that's exactly what you signed up to do, and I know that you're going to continue doing the work that is so desperately needed for Halo, for your families, and your country. The Duke of Sussex then asked how people could help, noting how many were watching on, feeling completely hopeless. Last April, Prince Harry made a secret visit to Ukraine, also working with the Superhumans Center in Lviv. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, which has often been targeted by Russia in its ongoing war with the European country, and Prince Harry's visit wasn't confirmed until he had left the country. That was smart. He visited the country again in September, shortly after reuniting with King Charles for their first face-to-face meeting in 19 months while spending time in the UK. Now, y'all know Hello Magazine, as well as all of the others, they're going to get in some kind of tidbit about Prince Harry's relatives and whatever kind of communication he's had with them recently. But for the most part, I appreciate them keeping it straight and narrow with his ongoing support of Ukraine. He has been very active, very engaged, and very communicative with and about Ukraine, keeping the world with Ukraine in mind. He's been keeping the world up to date because a lot of this would get trumped out in our news cycle, pun intended. There's so much chaos going on globally, especially here in America, especially in the UK, especially since the Epstein files have come out, or some of them, a very small fraction of them have come out. The world has had something to talk about and to nibble at the bit for years at this point. And it's so easy for very important things like Ukraine and the situation in Ukraine to get missed, especially with the news cycle always looking for the most salacious news to report so that they can get people engaged, especially if they can get people angry and hot under the collar and engaged. A lot of times they will miss very important information like this. With Prince Harry staying so engaged, with Prince Harry staying so committed to noting what's going on there, but also committing to help and offering whatever resources he can and consistently visiting, especially with a full team, and being able to document with photos and videos and getting reporters to join him there. I don't think people are acknowledging, or at least from what I've seen, I don't think people are truly acknowledging how much help that is bringing to Ukraine, how much awareness that is keeping on Ukraine and what Russia is doing there. I think Prince Harry is so smart to go about it this way, but I do want to acknowledge what a risk this is to him. And I find this to be one of those things that one of the causes and one of the things that he gets committed to that require a unique set of abilities. Because Prince Harry is a veteran, because Prince Harry understands war zones, because Prince Harry himself was a service member and he's a veteran, and he was also deployed twice, would have been 3 times if it hadn't been for the media. But because he understands what war zones are like, he understands what humanitarian work in those hot zones are actually like, and he's a public figure with a massive platform. He has this unique intersection of being fully highly visible, but then also understanding the intricate nature of getting in and out of war zones safely, but also what to document so that the world understands what's actually happening. We have a tendency to go out of sight, out of mind. If we don't see it in our news cycle, cycle. And a lot of times, if it's not on the front page and it's not the hot topic, it can be easy to forget. Shame on us. Our media is trained to be as salacious as possible, not as informative as possible. And that's something, as Prince Harry has noted several times, as well as Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, that's exactly why they face off with the media as often as they do. That's exactly why holding them accountable is so important. It's not just a self-serving thing. It's protecting the world from the harms of the media and their lacking. If the media were doing its job, we wouldn't need Prince Harry to visit with reporters to tell us what's going on, because we would be fully aware. He would probably still do it because he's there to help. But the point I'm making is for a lot of people, especially people in America, when Prince Harry visits Ukraine, when Prince Harry engages the world about Ukraine, when he mentions Ukraine, that's usually the only exposure that we have at that time. I don't know that people really understand how our news has been truly isolated from, or the news that we get has been truly isolated and has been centered on very few topics and very few subjects. And many of us have to get our news, our global news, through other resources, which we do. And we're even seeing some of those disappear. So with Prince Harry doing what he's doing, he's keeping the world informed, and he's using his very unique experience as a veteran, his very unique experience as a massive, a person with a massive platform and a massive public figure, but then also as a royal, as one of the world leaders. He's using that very unique experience to keep the world informed about extremely important matters, especially Ukraine. And I just want people to acknowledge that when we look back at this moment, we're used to Prince Harry and Meghan doing things like this. But when we look back at this moment in 20, 30, 40 years, I think people will recognize the gravity of which we should be talking about this, and how big of a deal this actually is, that he is making sure that people do not forget about Ukraine. I thought this would be a great moment to revisit Prince Harry's visit to Ukraine in April of 2025, which was last year. The update is coming from Sussex.com, and it's titled Superhumans. It's linked in the description box below under sources. It reads, Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, visited the Superhuman Center in Lviv, Ukraine, a world-class state-of-the-art facility providing prosthetics, rehabilitation, reconstructive surgery, and psychological care for those affected by the war. By delivering these services, the organization works to restore functionality, promote social integration, and enhance quality of life for both military personnel and civilians impacted by the ongoing conflict. The Duke traveled to Ukraine with friends from the UK Invictus community, where they toured the facility, meeting with patients and medical staff to witness the incredible treatment offered to soldiers, civilians, and children who have endured life-altering injuries. Superhumans' holistic approach combines advanced medical technology with emotional and mental health support with a full wraparound service. Prince Harry and the Invictus delegation reconnected with members of the Ukrainian Invictus Games community, including Yulia Tyrapivska, a Team Ukraine competitor whose story was featured in the Netflix docuseries Heart of Invictus. Their presence highlighted the strength and presence of a community built on resilience, purpose, and shared experience. During the visit, the Duke also met with Ukraine's Minister of Veterans Affairs, Natalia Kalamakova. Excuse me if I did not pronounce that correctly. Thanks to the influence of Invictus, sports recovery has become a key component of the country's national veterans policy, a vital step in supporting the long-term well-being and reintegration of veterans and their families. Towards the end of the visit, the Duke joined the surgical team in the operating theater, where he observed a live surgery, gaining direct insight into the complex procedures that are playing a vital role in the recovery of patients. The visit concluded with a gathering of patients, medical staff, family members, and Ukrainian Invictus Games team, followed by an award ceremony for those who had participated in the Superhumans Sports Day competition. The Duke was asked to share his experience from the day, praising the courage and positivity of everyone at the center and celebrating the strength of the Ukrainian soul.
Over the past year, I've had the honor and privilege of visiting Ukraine twice. Each time I left deeply moved by the courage, dignity, and unbreakable spirit of the Ukrainian people. In the midst of war, a war that continues to take the lives of civilians and service members every single day, life goes on. I saw this strength at the Superhuman Center during my visit in April, in the determination of those rebuilding their bodies and their futures. I saw it in the resilience and pride of the Invictus Games veterans I met in Vancouver. And I saw it in the eyes of the Ukrainians in Kiev, eyes that carry both pain and unwavering hope. For 4 years, Ukraine has stood firm. You have shown the world what true resilience looks like. You've reminded us all that freedom and independence are never guaranteed. They need protecting, defending, and when necessary, fighting for. Today, as Ukraine marks the anniversary of the start of this war, I want to speak directly to you, to those on the front lines and to those supporting from the home front. Your strength inspires the world. Your bravery unites us, and your hope lights a path forward for us all. Please know that you are not alone. The world stands with you, and we continue to learn from your courage every single day. Stay strong, stay brave, stay hopeful. Slava Ukraini.
Thank you so much for watching the SharionSade YouTube channel. I appreciate you watching my content. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video by hitting the thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. And don't forget to comment along the way. If you feel so inclined, please don't forget to share so that more people can find us. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Now let's get back to the video. That is all I have for you all today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to share so that more people can find us. I also just want to point out how I appreciate Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, for staying focused on what's important. Lord knows we cannot pick our family, child, and sometimes they will embarrass the hell out of us. And I just hope we can look to Harry and Meghan and just recognize what it looks like to stay focused forward and on what's going on with you and yours, and mind the business that pays you. We cannot control our family. We cannot control our loved ones, but what we can do is focus on what's important and let them deal with their nonsense on their own. One of the things that I really appreciate is the renewed support for Harry and Meghan. Now, part of me, that very small, cynical voice in the back of my head is like, where were y'all all this time? Y'all shouldn't have needed someone to be an outright pedophile for y'all to recognize that Harry and Meghan being fully transparent and sharing receipts in their stories, a book, a mini series, and all this other documentation of their lived experience. Y'all shouldn't have needed someone else to be horrible for y'all to simply believe what was in front of you, considering they gave you all the evidence to support everything they said. But I guess I'm happy to see more people revisiting that situation and recognizing that the royals have been trashed for a long ass time. And we were already told this several times by several people, including Prince Harry's mother. But listen, as long as people make their way over to the right side of the issue, I guess I can't be too mad. But what took them so long? Now that is always going to bother me because why did you need Andrew to be an all-out ass, especially now, considering that information about Andrew has been out for a very long time. Like, I guess they just didn't believe Virginia Giuffre all those years ago. I guess people just put their head in the sand. And I'll say this too, as we acknowledged in the live stream, sometimes people build very strong parasocial relationships with public figures and celebrities, especially those they watch grow up. But maybe it's just me. Maybe as an American, I don't get it. But I guess I'm glad to see y'all are renewing your support for Harry and Meghan. But I would have encouraged you to do that when they first told us what happened. But anyway, that's just me being an ass. But anyway, we are still getting more information about the royals associated with the Epstein files. And I decided to try my best to consolidate those updates into the live streams on Friday so that we at least have our weeks to talk about a variety of topics related to the royals. And we weren't so confined to just talking about what was going on with that man and his associates. It's just a lot, and I didn't want to inundate you guys with so much drama all the time. We want to talk about the good stuff and the positive updates such as this. So if you want the most recent updates on what's going on with the royals in relation to the scandals, feel free to hit up my live streams on Fridays and interact with us. There used to be at 3 p.m. Central. This week, we're going to try it out at 5 p.m. Central to see if more people have an opportunity to make it. I got a couple of emails asking if I could do them a little bit later so that more people could be active in the moment rather than watch on replay. So I'm going to give it a shot and I hope it works out. Hope to see y'all there. So anyway, that's all I have for y'all today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you to Prince Harry for keeping his thumb on the pulse of the issue and keeping the world informed about what is going on in Ukraine, as well as giving us a time update. I did not realize it had been 4 years. Time is just moving rapidly, especially when you have a demon seed in the White House. Anyway, that is all I have for y'all today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.